Hello Solana community and hello Degen Apes in particular. This is a quick tutorial all about how we can use Port.finance's protocol, which is on the Solana network of course, and Marinade Finance as well. And from there we can go ahead and take out a loan, or we can just earn a little bit more money. The reasons why we do this we'll kind of go through, but essentially if you've got a couple of Degen Apes, you may want to get another one, but you may want to do it in a different manner as opposed to just spending all of your Solana. Now, none of this is financial advice, and just learn a little bit, try a little bit, educate yourself, and make informed decisions as best as you can. As always, I suggest following whoever I'm going to talk about on Twitter and jumping into their Discord. So this is Port.finance Discord. You just click into Discord. You know how to do that. So here we are in Discord. Our first step is to come down to waiting room. And you can see I need to run a bot in order to verify myself. Verify. And then a captcha will come up here. And then we have to click on this captcha in order to verify ourselves. And then we jump back into Port.finance and we notice we have all of these different channels available. They have a Telegram as well. I don't really like Telegram. A lot of scammers in Telegram. Same with Discord as well. So just be vigilant of scammers. Port.finance will take us to this website right here. And if we scroll on down to the bottom, we have the light paper. The only thing that I find strange is light paper's misspelled, whereas it's spelled correctly here, but c'est la vie. If you want to, read through everything, but I'm just going to point out a couple of major things. If you're not really familiar with DeFi, DeFi is massive. Obviously NFTs at the moment are going crazy, but DeFi is really the world-changing thing on the blockchain. Kind of the standards are they. Port.finance over here, you can basically see that when you're looking at the borrow fee, it's 0.25% of borrowed amount on Aave, it's 0.1 on Port.finance, which is brilliant. Don't worry about flash loan, that's a little bit too complicated. Here, liquidation's when your assets go down and they have to sell some of them in order to cover what you've borrowed. It's a lot lower on Port.finance. Basically, you can see here, there's primary use cases, traders who are looking for leverage trading and long-term SPL token holders. So SPL, Solana Program Labs, that's any token that runs on the Solana network who are seeking additional yield. Let's quickly cover Marinade Finance. So Marinade Finance is a liquid staking protocol. And what that basically means, if we jump into our Phantom, we have our Solana. We can go and we can start earning Solana if we want to. We can go and pick a validator. I've got a couple of favorites. As you probably know, Shinobi Systems is one of them, and Genesis Go is another one. And these guys, they will earn about 7.5% or thereabouts. And there are other ones that are quite good as well. If we do it with this system, it will take us maximum about 3 days to get back our SOL. So if we go and stake, some of our SOL, and then we want to get it back, it'll take us 3 days. The advantage with Marinade Finance is you can get it back instantaneously. The other really cool thing is, and this is all on their Twitter, is they are launching a token. Now, I've been following them for a little while, but I've been way too busy helping and educating to actually get properly involved, which is annoying because they're going to be doing a retroactive kind of airdrop to people that have been using things. So if you have been using them, fantastic. If you haven't been using them, maybe you want to consider using them. Have a read through this, but long story short, they've got their own token. And I think they've got some pretty good potential. If you also go to the main medium, you'll see that they're taking a lot of things really, really seriously. So, for example, their security, they've got it down so that they've set up a multi-signature wallet. And what that basically means is, as opposed to just one company being able to look after everything, they have to have other people sign off on transactions. It's a Serum multi-sig wallet. They need 6 out of 11 signatures. So there's always going to be smart contract risk. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Unfortunately, there is considerable risk in these new startup projects. However, these guys are building, same with Port.finance, and it's certainly well worth having a look into and deciding if it's for you. What we're going to start off with, we're going to go to Marinade.finance. Here you can see the APY, annual percentage yield, which is compounded interest, is 6.21%. So it's about 1.3% less than staking Solana. So if all you want to do is just stake your Solana, then probably best just staking Solana and Phantom with a trusted validator or a good performing validator. So we're going to whiz through this pretty quickly. All right, we're going to go and deposit 20 mSOL. Maybe we'll just go 10 for the tutorial. Stake, approve. We're going to deposit this into Marinade's platform. You can tweak this if you like, whatever you like. But how this basically works is you have instant liquidity, as it says. You're diversifying your stake. So they then take a large amount, I think it's like 90% or so of all the Solana, and they stake it with different validators. So that's improved decentralization. And then, as it says, you have instant access to staked Solana. Now, there are a couple of caveats. If you wanted to unstake, there is a small fee, 0.3%. So don't be doing this if you're going to be doing this for like a week or half a day or something like that. This is something a little bit more long-term. They do make fees that way. And as you can see, 0.3 to 3%, depending on how much liquidity is in the pool and how big amount you're unstaking and how big amount. That's unusual. All good. Otherwise, delayed stake, you can do it and there's no fee for delayed unstaking, which is at least very good to have. Then you can go and DeFi with it in different protocols. Go have a look around, whatever you want. In particular, I will be covering Orca, which I really like. I haven't looked into Larix yet, but whatever, we'll go from there. All right, so now we've got a little bit of mSOL. As you can see, Marinade staked Solana. So that's already earning a little bit of Solana. And so the value will actually increase. So that will stay the same, 9.90081. However, the value will increase slowly, 6.5% or thereabouts per year. Also, just keep in mind that I'm using a separate wallet for this. As you can see, it's its own wallet. That way, if there was anything wrong, only I'm risking this. I'm not going to be risking, the Ape and NFT storage or anything like that. So here we are. We've got our SOL ready to go. We're going to go to Port.finance. From here, we click on App, Connect Phantom. I'm going to keep auto-approved transactions off and just connect. If you don't understand what auto-approved transactions are, only put them on if you fully trust a website. Now, my deep dive into Port.finance is certainly limited. I haven't had time as of yet. But basically, what they have happening is liquidity mining. So liquidity mining is where they pay you out in a token for using their platform. And plenty of places do it. At the moment, it's pretty nice over here. So you can see, basically, if we were to deposit Marinade staked SOL, we would be earning 0.09% plus 5.18%, which is fine. Solana, whatever, and USD coin, you'd be earning about 11%. So nothing crazy. If you wanted to go in with Tether, it'd be a lot more, of course. But there are a few things. So you can actually do it a couple of ways. First situation is we're going to go in and we're going to deposit our Marinade staked SOL. We actually have to go to supply over here on the left-hand side. We're going to set up this and approve. And there'll be a small fee of Solana to set up this. Jump in here quickly. Let's just see what it costs to initialize the account. Not very much Solana, 0.007. So there are a few transactions bundled in there. Now we want to go and deposit some mSOL. Now, of course, we can, just go with normal SOL. I'm going to go with mSOL because that way I'm still earning a little bit of a yield. So jump in here. I'm going to go max. Obviously, always keep a little bit of Solana, at least 0.05, ideally 0.01 for gas, and approve that transaction. We have now deposited. Now, there's a couple of things we could do if we really wanted. We could go and borrow it. If we're just going to be yield farming just for the sake of it, we could go and borrow like this. Doesn't really matter. We could go and borrow, 80%, 90% of the same asset. This is basically just kind of gaming the system in a way, which you can do if you want to. Essentially, we're paying 1.04% to borrow, and then we're earning 0.09, but we're getting that extra port token. So we could basically cycle these back in. So we'll just do that. If you put in mSOL, borrow mSOL, deposit mSOL, etc., 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 then there is really no liquidation risk because the price is going to fluctuate exactly the same. All right, as you can see, we've got some more here. We could just go and deposit this all. And this improves our collateral ratio. You don't have to do anything like this. it doesn't earn a huge amount. You're basically paying 1% and earning about 5%. So if you don't understand this, that's fine. It's a little bit complicated. If you're familiar with kind of cycling this or gaming it in such a way, then great. You'd then probably, as you started to earn a little bit of port, which will kind of accrue up here, you'd probably go and claim some and convert some back to mSOL to redeposit. But that's a little bit complicated, so we're not going to go into that too much. We're back in supply. As you can see with positions, we've got a maximum of 10 positions. So any more than that, we'll just set up a separate wallet address, which would be very simple. So I've gone and I've withdrawn some mSOL. I'm going to go back to borrow, click on mSOL again, click on repay, and I'm just going to pay it all off. Confirm and approve that transaction. Now I have no debt. If I go back to supply, I have 9.88. So I've got $1,600 worth. I can go back to borrow, and here I can go and borrow some USD coin. So let's go and borrow $1,000 worth. Confirm. Now I'm paying 7.37% to borrow this. It's a little bit expensive, but these rates are variable. So here I am in dashboard. I've got my deposit value over here, and on my right, I've got borrow value. Now, if I was really, really bullish on Solana itself, I could then just literally go into Phantom and convert this USDC back to Sol and go and do whatever I wanted with it. For example, we'll jump into Orca very quickly and connect our wallet over here. Maybe here we want to go and provide liquidity and earn 40%. It's up to you. We could go and farm with it. We could do whatever we wanted, or we could convert some to USDC and USDT and go and farm at 16%. Which is still pretty good. So jumping back into Port, there's a couple of strategies. We're already earning interest on our mSOL. We're getting paid with rewards in Port token as well. Our loan is pretty low. It's like 7% interest, as we can see in the borrow tab. Maybe we want to go and buy another Degen Ape. Maybe you've got a couple of hundred SOL and you want to go and do it like that, but you don't want to go and sell your SOL. The other thing to note is if you sell your SOL, then it's a taxable event. Maybe you've had it from $5 and now it's worth $150 or $160, etc. And you just want to go and take out a USDC loan and convert that to SOL and then come in here and buy yourself an ape. The floor price is 70 SOL, so it's not exactly super cheap, but you definitely have that option. The other thing is maybe you've got some Solana, a couple of hundred, a couple of $1,000 worth, whatever it is, but you just need a bit of USDC for bills or something like that. Then you have this other option where you could just take your USDC like we've got, and then from here you could send it to FTX and go and withdraw it to your wallet. Alternatively, you could go and swap this to Solana and then send that to, say, Binance. You cannot send USDC to Binance. And then when it goes to Binance, you can go and change that to USDC and withdraw it to your normal bank if you need to do any of those things. In summary, Port.finance, it is a money market. So it has the option to, as we know, to supply, earn interest, and borrow and pay interest. At the moment, we can liquidity mine, so we get that extra Port token, which is a governance token. It's certainly worth going into their Discord to have a bit of a look around all that sort of information. With Marinade.finance, they're doing so many things right. I can always criticize them on a couple of small things, such as I don't believe they should be putting their Solana into Everstake or Certus One or these big validators that do not give a good return. But overall, they're doing some really good things. And just remember with Marinade, you may end up getting some MNDE, their Marinade token as well, which starts Thursday, October 7th, so really, really soon. You can get this by providing liquidity to mSOL pools, AMM pools, automated market maker pools, such as Orca and Radium. I think Orca is really cool at the moment because you can earn some Orca tokens, some Marinade tokens, as well as a bit of mSOL interest as well. Lending, Port.finance we've covered, Larix I haven't yet, and internal you can do it in Marinade's own LP, liquidity pool staking. And that's another option as well. If you want to maybe play it a little bit safer, you could just come in and just do it here. Let's find it. Here it is, 3.05% APY. And at the moment, it's only SOL-only deposits. So you can just only add Solana yourself. I've just jumped into Orca. This is certainly a subject for another video. But basically what I want to show you is these guys are just quite genius Like, as you can see, if I convert USDC to SOL, $100 worth, it tells me exactly how much I'm getting. If I do this, and I love Phantom Wallet, it is the best. They are innovating in many, many ways. But this is basically what we can see. We don't know exactly if it's a good deal or not. You know, we can see the fees and all that sort of stuff. This is not a human readable format, whereas this is a human readable format. We put in $100 and our expected value is $100.15. Down here, we click on fair price and it says the price impact is 0.1%. So I've seen people do like $100,000 in one transaction and lose so much money because they didn't realize you can't do it like that. You got to do a little bit by a little bit. So this is a genius thing. So we could go and do this, exchange, approve the transaction. We could also go into StableSwap. Here, it's even a better rate, but you can basically check the two. The other really genius thing is, as you can see here, it says, try $7 of Kuro to SNY. A quick example is if I had a little bit of SOL that I wanted to change into some random token, let's just find some random token. I have no idea what this is. So $1.68 worth. It will tell me if it's a good rate, but also it goes through another intermediary. So it goes Solana to USDC to Kuro. Whereas if we use something like Radium, it has to go directly between them. So you'd have to do this transaction yourself. In this case, it does it all for you. So this is really cool. Nevertheless, we're going to jump into pools and we're going to go and provide a little bit of SOL USDC just for the sake of a tutorial. Now this will be subject to impermanent loss. If you don't know what that is, don't get involved until you've learned what it is. We'll play with the very small amounts that you're happy to kind of risk. As you can see, we are putting in $1,800. And as you can see, we're expected to get maybe $60 a month. This can fluctuate, of course. Deposit and approve. Now, all we need to do is come up here, click on your liquidity, and this is where we're staked. We're earning a small amount of Orca, not very much. As you can see, a little bit here. We can do whatever we want. We can sell it, or we can go and stake it. Entirely up to you. When you're new to crypto, when you're new to Discord and all that sort of stuff, I would suggest being very, very vigilant of scammers. I won't harp on too much about it. There is a linked video below if you want to watch it. But basically, go up to the icon, right click on it, go to privacy settings, and then just turn this option off. That way people cannot send you direct messages, and that will save you quite a bit of effort. When you're looking at kind of understanding this a little bit, remember the search function is your friend. Also jump into the channels and always check out the pinned messages. There can be quite a bit of good information there. Announcements, news feeds, etc. That's always worth jumping into as well. Thanks very much for watching. If you're going to go and buy yourself your first ape or another ape, great. Go and do a bit of research in the Degen Ape Academy Discord and have a bit of fun with that. Otherwise, get involved with these protocols. You never know what you might learn. And if you are new and scared of this ecosystem, just play with a very small amount. Even if you're just playing with like $50 or something like that, you'll learn quite a few things. You'll spend a few hours in Discord, and who knows, maybe this will go up in value, fingers crossed. Please leave a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what kind of tutorials you're after. Cheers.